Hey, what's happening, gamers? How's everybody doing? Welcome back to Batman Arkham Origins. This is part 4, breaking the bank on Christmas. Because, you know, we're breaking into the bank on Christmas and dealing with some problems. So this is going to be the entire Merchant's Bank thing, and hopefully some side missions, whatever comes from that afterwards. So hopefully you guys having a good one. And you're ready for the 4th episode of our Batman Arkham Origins series. I think it's going to start us in the Batcave, which means it'll be very easy for us to change. Cool beans. And Lincoln's Elder here, Amber's here. We have our Christmas tree on, and tried to eat a little bit of food, and so many regrets. I was able to get half of the sandwich done. I was like, oh, I don't feel so good. So maybe I'm rushing the solids a little bit too quickly, but I don't know.
Well, that's why I got you the cheese. Might be easier to digest.
I think I'm gonna try, later I'll try to have some veggie platter. Little veggie platter, not a lot, just a little bit.
Well, here I am, insatiably hungry. I'm starving. Luke can barely eat.
Well, I wasn't able to keep food down for like almost 3 days. There's a big difference between you and us.
Oh, thank you, John. I appreciate it.
Miss Gordon has the makings of a kindred spirit. She could prove to be a valuable ally in time.
She's just a kid, Alfred.
About the same age you were when you began your studies.
It's not the same.
Oh, no, of course not. There can be only one hero of Gotham. Perish the thought another might share your vision.
That's not what I meant.
I rather think it was.
Tell him, Alfred.
Oh.
You do know there are easier ways to earn frequent flyer points, sir?
Very funny, Alfred.
Why, thank you. Just a few more remarks like that, and I'll have earned my spot in the sarcastic Butler's Hall of Fame. Seems to me that Captain Gordon is the one good apple in a bad bunch.
Alright.
Since when did masks become de rigueur for aspiring crime lords?
Oh, Merry Christmas Eve, everyone, sort of. 2 days. It's kind of like Christmas Eve for us.
Zelda. Don't be a little brat, Zelda.
Yep, back-to-back Origin streams. That's right, Alpha. Hi, Raspberry. Hi, Alpha. Hi, M.A. Moreno. Hi, Miss Deanna. Great to see you. Hi, Ahmad. Hi, John Duncan says, hi, look at Amber 3. And then I'm going to hop on the Arkham series. Thanks for all the videos. Thank you, John. Really appreciate that.
You watched 100 and something episodes.
He watched a lot of the episodes. He might have just watched the ones with us together. 66.
Okay.
I think 66 was our last one. Oh, unless you watched 100.
Amber's been doing it solo for at least a year.
Hi, Jacob Langlet. Hi. And yeah, that's why I thought you weren't going to be able to finish Miles Morales. That's why I did the story, because I was trying to finish it up for you.
Zelda, come on. I'm super jumpy right now. It's not...
I don't even know if she... Are we still on? Because I don't...
Yeah, we're still on.
Can you still hear us?
The city's back to normal before that.
Yeah, we're still on.
City lost power.
She didn't get anything.
Everyone got a chance
Sure.
to taste the way we've been living for years.
She had trouble. She had a little trouble in this group.
Remember? Built those new shelters.
Well, you got a New
Yeah.
Year's party.
And closed them all up a couple years later. You're trapped here. Stuck in the streets forever. Yep. That's just the way they like it.
Even Alfred knows that Barbara has what it takes to become one of Batman's sidekicks. Interesting, oh wait.
Yep.
Look at that.
She's
Damn
got
shoes
Moxie.
falling apart. Your foot doesn't look so good. Doesn't feel so good either. Maybe we should
Hi.
get you to a hospital.
Hi, Keith. Hi,
I've
everyone.
had worse. I'm sure it'll be fine by morning.
That foot doesn't look like it's ever gonna be fine again.
This is gonna hurt.
It is gonna hurt. How are the
Maybe I'll-
Anarchy guys still hanging out when they've been all defeated? That's
Maybe I'll put the fish in there.
You can do whatever you want. I can't really end up with a discussion.
Here I am sick because I'm hungry.
2 different people, though.
I know, that's why I told people online. I said I'm sick, but for other, I don't have whatever Luke has.
I'm glad you don't. Blaze Comics. So I learned some useless DC trivia
Thanks.
when I was on my sick bed. So apparently in Argentina they couldn't call the Flash because there was a magazine called Flash Magazine in the 80s and 90s. So what do you think the Flash's name ended up becoming in Argentina?
Streak.
That would have been a better name than they chose. They called him the Flush.
Why?
So throughout the 90s and the late 80s, Flash in Argentina was called the Flush. It's kind of funny.
That sounds stupid. What does that mean in Spanish?
I don't know.
What does flush translate to in Spanish?
I don't know.
Because in English that doesn't translate that good.
Well, at least we know Flash flushes.
That's one fancy freak.
Oh, from episode 1 to 241, there's a few episodes of Animal Crossing and some other stuff with it. Oh, we put Animal Crossing in there on accident?
It's not supposed to be Animal Crossing that day.
Oh, okay, thanks, John.
We'll try to clean that up one of these days.
TD4JC says Merry Christmas to you, KY there, and Merry Christmas, Luke.
Merry Christmas.
All units, if you are
Merry
10-10,
Christmas,
please report in for potential.
Raspberry says, I want to tell you both, you two are amazing, purely kind-hearted, intelligent, hilarious online parental figures.
That's very sweet.
That's very kind.
Too high.
That's very kind, Raspberry.
These guns are tough.
We're just doing the best we can, but that means a lot to me. Raspberry says, I would have rather the Blur, maybe.
Where would have been probably better?
Honestly, anything would have been better than the Flush. The Dash. Of course, they used Dash later in The Incredibles.
We got him.
Dash, Blur, the Streak.
All right,
That should be a poll. What should have the Flash's name been in Argentina instead of the Flush?
let's see how well you do
The
against the
Zoom. Of course, that's a villain.
I'm gonna kill you. We need to give him
It was okay, Hasi.
freak don't stand a chance.
Oh,
We can't this thing.
what?
Freaking can.
We still up.
We ain't going down without
Didn't I break all these things?
The reverse flush is for most
Oops, that alarm's always gonna go off even though I broke it. Hey guys, new glitch! The alarm for them picking up the guns is gonna constantly go off in this area even though I stopped it.
The flush is so funny, says Christina. Ha ha ha. Yeah, that was a bad, I don't know, that was a bad name choice. Like, maybe they don't know what that translates to in English.
Do you wanna know what's funny though? DC Comics eventually bought Flash magazine from Argentina and they shut it down.
Oh, so that they could call it the Flash.
So they could call Flash again. So by 1999, so from 1988 until 1999 in Argentina, the Flash was known as the Flush.
That sounds dumb.
I know. Yeah, that's funny.
That's a weird bit of trivia that I didn't
know.
I don't know if I ever wanted to know that.
Yeah, and it was Wally West too. Yeah. But DC in a comic book in like the past couple of years, or maybe 5-6 years, they made mention of like that Flash is called Flush Man in Argentina.
Oh.
DC Comics actually acknowledged that it happened. It's kind of funny.
What does Luke think of the reveal
giving out guns
of
like
who Black Mask really is in this game, Tanner?
Are you kidding me?
What are his thoughts on it?
I've already gone over it.
Luke has done it on other videos. He's not feeling the best. But, I mean, I don't really remember what Luke's thoughts are on it, because I kind of like, every time I listen to his videos, it's just like a blur to me.
Stupid
But,
dude.
You know, I don't think that either of us thought it was a good idea. Even when Luke started this series, when we just saw Black Mask at the first appearance, when we were doing this series this time, streaming it through, since a few days ago, Luke mentioned in the stream that, you know, it's too bad they did, you know, they didn't really give Black Mask the respect he probably should have had as a villain. Everyone thought it was really going to be Black Mask. And a lot of people in the chat also said that they felt that, you know, they did Black Mask dirty in a way. I mean, of course, he's a criminal. Of course, he, you know, deserves to be kind of mistreated. But, I mean, they mistreated the character because the character is cool and he's a bad guy. But, you know, he deserved to have his own game. It was my personal opinion, and I think Luke agrees with me on this. But my personal opinion is that it was you know, I would have rather had the supervillain behind this game be Black Mask. There's no reason to bring the Joker in again. It's just, only reason would be to bring Mark Hamill in as the Joker.
They didn't bring Mark Hamill in.
Oh, they didn't even bring Mark Hamill in, so then I don't even know why. I don't even know why they did it, because I guess they just wanted to bring the character, the Joker, they thought was popular, but I think it should have been Black Mask. I don't think they should use the Joker in every single Batman game. Luke even mentioned to the people making Arkham Shadow, when he was in talks with them, when they sent us the game, that he mentioned just, you know, his own personal opinion that, you know, maybe they should try bringing the Joker in at the end instead of having him be the main villain for several games. Maybe have other villains first, and then bring Joker in later.
Yeah, I told Ryan if they're gonna get a trilogy, they should save Joker for the finale, because they have a rare opportunity to actually do the ventriloquist and Black Mask war that's hinted at in the Arkham games that happened, because we know Black Mask gets his criminal empire back. He's just not some random nobody who can, you know, have an empire anymore.
Yeah.
So
I also think, like, the world itself, personally, like, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but the world itself of Gotham, you know, if all the other criminals are just random, like, people that aren't very scary, and there's only one scary guy, the Joker, and everyone else is just lame, then why does Batman even need to exist if there's only one guy he needs to take down? The only somewhat person that has any, you know, scary at all, or has any kind of criminal mastermind is the Joker, because he's the only character in every game. Every single game, it's always the Joker. So it makes criminals such as Bane and Black Mask and all these other criminals seem like they're morons, like they're stupid, so anyone should be able to take them down.
The Joker may still be here,
So,
in the vault.
you know,
I should
that's
use
my
caution.
point.
They're all dead. There's something more sinister going on here.
I feel Black Mask was underused, but like I told Ryan and company, they have a good opportunity to do justice to Black Masks the same way they did justice to Two-Face, because Two-Face was always treated as nothing more than a side quest villain in every Arkham game. Even in Arkham Knight, he has such a small role. Arkham City, he has that bit part at the beginning of the game, and then, you know, a bit part in Catwoman's DLC, and then in Arkham Knight, he's just, it looks like he has a big role in the cutscene, but he has a smaller role than Penguin. So whoever does the next Arkham game, they have a big opportunity to do justice to Black Mask and reform his empire and deal with Scarface. So we'll see what happens.
Think you can just waltz under my bank, huh?
Roman, I'm here for the Joker.
The Joker? Never heard of him. How about you, dog? Know the Joker?
The who?
And you, sir? Name Joker ring a bell?
You son of a bitch! You think you can steal from me? You got away with it? You're a dead man. Dead!
You
It's been you this whole time. You hired the assassins. You've been running Sionis' operation.
Well, technically it's my operation now. Isn't that right, boys?
You got me. Now let her go.
Oh, life would be so simple if you were all I wanted. No, you're just a teeny little distraction compared to what I've got up my sleeve. Here, have a laugh on me. Do you hear that? Sounds like 8 tiny reindeer.
She's dead.
Or she's smiling. No, she didn't.
Another toxin.
I'm telling you, he ain't dead.
I'm sorry. It must be a bad connection. I thought I heard you say that after I shot him and blew up a building on him, the bat somehow survived.
If he was dead, there'd be a body. There ain't no body.
Well, since I know that's impossible, I'm going to let you reconcile my vision of reality with your version of reality.
You want me to wait until Joker's done talking, or?
I'll translate it into thug speak for you.
Alright, well, John Duncan said if you were... Luke, you asked on Deathstroke why Deathstroke could kill...
The Joker knows I survived the explosion. I need to hurry before he kills Sionis. Or anyone else.
This don't make no sense. He's shot, injured.
Something's jamming my signal. I need to figure out what it is and take it out.
Or maybe you're just as blind as you are stupid.
Oh, we almost did the inverted takedown.
If I find it,
No, it didn't do the inverted takedown.
You were supposed to press the button. It said inverted takedown. You pressed the button, but the guy walked away.
Yeah, it didn't do the inverted takedown. Whoops.
Oh, too bad, so sad.
Oh, he looks weird in this.
He's supposed to. It's not long after he was transformed into the Joker.
Luke, you asked why Deathstroke could kill 4 Brainiacs but couldn't kill a man in a costume in episode 1 of the series. The answer to that question is the bane of all supervillains, the protagonist, Halo? Unless that was a mistype. I don't know who Halo is. Unless there was an autocorrect.
Protagonist Halo? Why have I heard that phrase before?
How would you write the Joker then if Black Mask was the main villain of this, says Tanner? Would it Joker be a side character, cameo, or not in it at all? I would just have him not in it at all, personally.
I would have saved Joker for the game after.
That's why I'm watching Batman Returns. The movie was really interesting because, you know, Tim Burton in that movie, the Joker's not in that at all.
The Joker knows I survived the
It's not
explosion.
necessary.
I need to hurry before he kills Sionis. Or anyone else.
This don't make no sense. He's shot, injured.
I don't know.
Something's
The
jamming my
Penguin and
signal.
your
I need
Maxwell
to figure out what it is and take
track.
it out.
And those 2 villains alone hold the movie.
Forgot the Red Triangle Circus Gang.
And the Red Triangle Circus Gang, okay. So there you go. You don't need the... You don't necessarily need the Joker. I just don't think you would need him in every... I think it's weird to always include the Joker in, like, everything. Like, the focus is supposed to be on Batman, not the Joker.
I swear my feet ain't what they used to be.
They need to introduce Prometheus, Maxie, Zeus, the Great White Shark in the next Arkham game, since they were only Easter eggs in the Arkhamverse, says John Doe. K-Wings, what frustrates me is when people say Batman is responsible for his rogues when episodes like Trial prove otherwise. Other worlds that show a world without Batman is anarchy and chaos, says James.
Hey, buddy.
Big night, big plans. Hope it all comes together.
Who's Blair White? I don't know. I don't know who that is.
My instructions were clear, weren't they? So, why isn't the bat dead yet?
You should drink a tall glass of shut the hell up.
I want a Nightwing solo game. This is Alpha.
Like I'm supposed to be scared of a freak with a mask.
I like Batman Returns. I just haven't watched it in a while, so same
Why
here.
don't you all quit gabbing
I
and
finally
find
watched
the
it
bat?
without closing my eyes when he bit the guy's nose this time. Usually it freaks me out, but I watched it. It was pretty good, actually, Samuel. I mean, seeing that movie, you realize that you could do a game or a movie without the Joker in it. You just have to... I mean, even with Aaron Eckhart, he was going to be a great Two-Face.
How long does it take
And-
to find one guy? Get a move
I mean,
on.
before they
Being a
replaced,
bitch only once. It's just a job.
like, I didn't even see you. It's weird. And then Billy D. Williams was going to be a great Two-Face. They were setting him up to be Harvey Dent. But then they replaced him randomly. I forgot. Who's that guy that replaced Billy D. Williams? Isn't that like that guy from Men in Black replaced him? I don't remember what his name is. Oh. The guy who replaced Billy D. Williams and became Two-Faced, was he the only villain in that? Oh, that was Batman Forever.
You mean Tommy Lee Jones?
Tommy Lee Jones, yeah. Wasn't he the only villain in that? Or was he with... The Joker wasn't in that one either.
No.
Yeah, so Tim Burton did 2 movies without the Joker. And Batman Returns was a great finale, even though it didn't even have the Joker. I mean, I think there's a lot of great storylines. I would have loved if the Batgirl movie didn't have so many problems in it, like where they were following a weird storyline and odd stuff that they threw in there.
Say,
I was
thought you'd
really
have more
looking
fight
forward
in you.
to
A lot more
Brendan
fight.
Fraser being Firefly. Also, I was really looking for it personally. I mean, I think it was a missed opportunity. I mean, it's a long time ago, but I think it would have been interesting to see Billy D. What is his name? Yeah, Billy D. Williams as Two-Face, but we never got to see that.
Got to see it in the Lego movie.
Oh, that's right, he was in the Lego movie. I mean, he's a very good actor, so that was frustrating that he was randomly replaced, but whatever.
This is gonna be annoying. There's too many armored guys. How'd I do this last time?
How could... You had a question about how could the ventriloquist, like, hold his own as a crime boss? I mean, like...
Something's
He held his own in a crime boss in the Arkham bios.
And also in the animated series, he was pretty terrifying.
Black Mask and the ventriloquist went to war in the Arkham universe. It's documented in Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, so it has to happen. A game like Black Mask comes to power. Batman messes him up in Arkham Origins, but by the time Arkham City is around again, Black Mask is a reputable crime boss again.
I mean, I don't think that being insane and having a puppet that does your talking is going to be a negative when it comes to being a crime boss, because you already have several people that are completely insane and they're perfectly fine at doing crime. Mad Hatter, you know, Harley,
This is it. An
the
opportunity to
Joker,
make your new boss happy.
Two-Face, Poison Ivy. You have a lot of super criminals that are insane. So the ventriloquist just happens to have a marionette puppet. It's kind of weird, but you could make it super creepy. I mean, puppets are creepy. I mean, that could be pretty well done. I mean, but I think it would be, you know, I hope they don't make it too creepy because I don't never sleep again, but puppets are terrifying.
Yeah. How many armored guys left?
Imagine if you're dealing with a guy that, you know, has a puppet on his arm and he's making a deal, like, of arms with, like, you know, you're selling weapons or something. And you keep looking at him instead of the puppet, and the puppet's screaming at you, like, look at me, don't look at him. And it's completely confusing you to the point where it's like, you know, the guy's insane. So, you know, I mean, being mentally unstable, I mean, I think doesn't. I mean, that helps to scare everyone to kind of fall in line. Yeah, I mean, it might be kind of dorky or weird, maybe, but I think it could work. I mean, Paul Dini wrote the character. He thought it was good enough to be in the animated series. And
Why did he avoid that?
I mean, there's other. I mean, if you're trying to connect it to real life, there's
like
people that attach, you know, luck to certain things. Like, he's seen as his lucky puppet that he takes around, like a lucky rabbit's foot or something. I don't know. I guess I'm stretching here at this point.
There we go. Now we're getting somewhere.
Just watch out for the shadows. Show yourself.
No, I'm good. I got him this time. It's over.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being completely honest. It would be hard for people to take you seriously holding a puppet, though. Just to be completely honest.
It'll work in the Arkham universe.
It would be
Especially
more,
if they do it as a VR game, it's fine.
It would be more reasonable to believe that somebody with a black mask could make people afraid. Or somebody flipping a coin, or something like that. Or just a regular crime boss. Or someone feeding somebody to a shark. That would make more sense. But having a puppet be scary, I could picture some people just laughing at him. But I remember in the animated series, like, the thugs that were talking to him were like, they were saying stuff like, oh, you know, like, you know, after they talked to him, they were like, what, you know, that guy's crazy, you know, he thinks the puppet's real.
But the problem is, Burton didn't know that the animated series was in development. Like, the animated series didn't come out until, like, after Batman Returns was in theaters. Batman Returns released in theaters, like, the summer of 1992. Batman the Animated Series debuted September of 1992.
Please, don't hurt me.
So there was no way that, while the animated series was inspired by Burton's world, it was kind of completely separate, and Danny Elfman's, like, I forget the musical term. The composer who worked with him, I guess his understudy or whatever, was the main composer for the animated series. And Burton had some input, but I wouldn't say that Batman, like the Keaton show, is like the live action version of Batman the Animated Series, because Keaton killed a lot in the live action thing, and the only things that were similar is maybe the Batmobile and the music. The Batmen couldn't be any different than one another. One was a killer and one was not.
Please.
Well, I mean...
Stop!
Where's the Joker going?
Guy's nuts, man. Killed about a quarter of black masked men when they wouldn't take orders from him.
Unless you want to join them, talk.
He said something about the steel mill.
That's Sionis's mill.
It's Joker's mill now. Ain't no way you're getting in there.
I didn't ask for your opinion. Alfred, pull schematics on Sionis Industries steel mill. Joker's taken Sionis there. He's going to kill him. Unless I get there first.
This Joker sounds dangerous.
He's taken over Black Mask's operations and slaughtered the men who wouldn't turn. He's the one who hired the assassins.
And it must be he who ordered the bombing of the GCPD. Oh, dear Lord. Shouldn't you think about letting the police handle this one?
Not a chance. He's mine.
This is Batman's big mistake, not getting the police involved at this point, because there's too much going on.
Yeah, I like John Doe's comments. Says Tanner. Oh, it says, what makes the ventriloquist dangerous is that he has a dissociative identity disorder. Scarface basically represents his anger, not to mention the dummy is always armed with a Tommy gun. I mean, I was just thinking about something with the ventriloquist.
Serious? Nice.
Well,
So we gotta collect that bounty? That's the plan. Remember, there's a bonus if we bring him in alive. All right, say
No body armor. Oh.
Keep your eyes open. You see even the slightest movement, call it out. Yes, sir. Absolutely. And no more yakking. Dead silent. Anyone here as much
Jeez,
as
they
a
really
pin
like
drop?
to make this hard on you.
We got action.
Why did you do that?
Oh, I don't want to distract Luke as he's doing this.
Hands like a truck.
Great. We're in trouble. Big trouble.
Stay where you are.
And my combo broke because...
Make it look good.
the armor guys make this so hard. No! I could have done it. I had the ability to take... I'm dead. I had the ability to take out the armored guy before he got...
I remember that one episode of the animated series was so scary. The ventriloquist was threatening to kill, or the Scarface was threatening to kill the ventriloquist. And the ventriloquist was legitimately scared. Like, scared to death, so he did whatever Scarface told him to do. Even though Scarface is him. It's like he's not aware that the puppet is not him. You know? It's so weird. But I was just thinking about this, like, I was just remembering, like, sometimes I watch talent shows and stuff, and they have interviews with people that do puppets. And I've heard it more than once where people have said that they don't like doing live action, they wanted to be an actor or a singer or a dancer or something, and they didn't want to be in front of people because they're nervous or shy. So that's why they did puppets. It helped them be more confident because they could just put all what they're doing through the puppet, you know. And even Gabby, who won, she was that girl that won America's Got Talent with her puppet. She can actually sing really well, but she can only sing.
Saw the weirdest thing. Bunch of dudes all dressed up like they were
She
going
only
to a
sings
party,
with her
singing
puppet.
in the streets.
Like,
So, it's Christmas. They were probably out caroling.
Okay, there's gonna be a cutscene.
Serious? In this weather? With everything that's going down? Besides, they weren't singing Christmas songs. What?
There's nothing here.
What?
Exactly.
Shiva. Trying to collect the bounty.
That's just a consolation prize, in case you fail the test.
Test? I don't have time for this.
Somewhere in New Gotham, an innocent man is about to die. And we both know you won't allow that. So the question is, can you find him, Batman? Can you save him?
wow, she vanished real fast.
Here's another thing they've never done in the Arkham universe after Arkham Shadow. Batman's first meeting with Ra's al Ghul needs to be a game.
That'd be interesting.
That's what Lady Shiva says, that she is testing him for her master.
Yeah.
And so not only could you do the ventriloquist and Black Mask, but you could have the game be about Batman's first encounter with the League of Shadows.
Yeah, in that one Batman series, The Batman or whatever it's called, that got canceled, they were introducing some cool characters in that. Magpie, or they were showing more of the characters. Magpie, Lady Shiva, etc. Like they were showing off some cool characters that people that I forget about. But I was just thinking, like, some people actually feel more confident behind their puppet, like people that are puppeteers. Like, it's literally a thing. I watch a lot of talent shows, and they all say that they do things with their puppet that they wouldn't normally do on their own. Like I'm the same way with my microphone. I don't normally talk this much in real life. When I'm behind the microphone, I talk more. So it's like some people like channel their energy into one thing so they can use that one thing and feel more confident. I mean, I know that ventriloquist is, terrifying and he's insane, but I'm just saying you could use that a little bit. To be like it makes sense why he'd be like really shy, and then when he picks up his puppet, he's completely different. And I like what John Doe was saying, where it's like one aspect of this angry aspect of his personality. Like his anger gets channeled in that.
Available units
If I could make an Arkham game, would I make the ventriloquist the main? No, he would be the side role. I think the ventriloquist coming to power would make a great game. to have Batman deal with the Court of Owls, or not the Court of Owls, excuse me, have to deal with the League of Shadows. Court of Owls cannot be utilized in the Arkham prequels because they never happened in the Arkham timeline. People need, like, anyone making an Arkham game needs to realize that from Arkham Asylum to Arkham City to Arkham Knight, the Court of Owls is never mentioned and there's no Easter eggs for them. So the only secret organization that you can do a game on is Ra's al Ghul and either the League of Assassins or the League of Shadows. You cannot ever incorporate the Court of Owls into the Arkham universe. It will not work. I hate to say it like that, but it's true. Because that was a new 52 concept. And the Arkham universe, for majority of its storyline, takes place in the pre-52 or pre-Flashpoint. It will not work. There would never be any future reference of it whatsoever. Just like they have to figure out a way of getting rid of Leslie Tompkins now because she has no role in any future Arkham game and no mention. The only thing that exists for Leslie Tompkins is like an Easter egg for her store, for one of her places that Bruce sponsors. That's it. She's never mentioned by name. So either it has to be something absolutely traumatic that it never is mentioned again in the Arkham universe, or because this is a problem with making prequels, is you have to be darn sure that you're staying in line with the continuity, and that's what I, appreciate for the most part, what Ryan and his team were able to do with Arkham Shadow, except they messed up Robin a little bit. But here's the thing, the Arkham games have always done Robin dirty. They gave him a cool first appearance in Arkham City, with Tim Drake looking like the way he did, but his personality and everything about the whole Tim and Barbara thing, they definitely messed up the Robin stuff. So the fact that they messed up Dick Grayson in Arkham Shadow, I mean, it's not beyond that they couldn't mess anything else up, but you have to get rid of Leslie somehow, and it has to be done in a way that Batman never talks about it ever again to line in with the future, because when you're putting together a puzzle, everything has to fit together nicely. And what they've done with Arkham Shadow is they've kind of fixed a lot of the continuity problems of Arkham Origins and Blackgate, right? So if they're the ones that continue to piece together the future with the past, I think they could continue to do a good job. They're going to make some mistakes every once in a while, but as long as it still flows together, the timeline works. But if you interject stuff that never is ever mentioned in future Arkham games, like the Court of Owls, or some, strange villains that are now in Batman comics today that have no mention whatsoever in either Arkham Knight, Arkham City, or Arkham Asylum, you cannot use them. Tweedledee is mentioned, Ventriloquist is mentioned, Black Mask is mentioned, Firefly, all those principal main Batman villains are mentioned quite a bit. Prometheus, the White Shark, or Killer Shark, whatever his name is, that gangster, the different crime families. It's not like you're really putting yourself in a box. You're able to explore elements of the Arkham universe that is just basically hinted at, and it's never fully utilized. We only have Easter eggs and small little bios of, small characters like Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and different Batman villains like Ratcatcher and things like that, and Killer Moth. We've never actually seen them fully realized. And I think for a Batgirl game, Killer Moth would work fantastic. So
I want a Batgirl game in which Brendan Fraser voices Firefly.
You want a Batgirl game where he gets to voice Firefly?
Yeah, because he didn't get to do his role in the thing.
The problem is they already have a actor who's playing Firefly, but you could have him play Killer Moth.
Yeah, I mean, that would be cool.
We've never had an actor play Killer Moth.
Mm-hmm. I also think it's interesting, that in Arkham Shadow, they set up the ventriloquist pretty well. They had him he was, strapped to a chair, and then that fear toxin got into him. I thought that he was downstairs underground and Dr. Crane was experimenting on him or something. Isn't that what happened, Luke?
Mm-hmm.
Honey?
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
With Dr. Crane experimenting on the ventriloquist?
Yeah, they're gonna make Dr. Crane responsible for making ventriloquist crazy and firing Harley Quinn. So they changed some things a little bit, but they never explained how the ventriloquist was crazy in the Arkham universe because he's never been in a game outside of Arkham Shadow. The only game you've ever seen the ventriloquist in is his dummy is in Arkham Asylum. And his dummy's on display in Arkham City, like, hinted at that maybe Wesker is dead, but you don't know. Because, like, you know, Scarface and Wesker aren't causing trouble in Arkham City. So either they're in hiding or they're dead because the Penguin has a trophy of the ventriloquist Scarface on display.
Oh, yeah?
I'm pretty sure. In his museum.
Oh, right, the Penguin does.
Yeah. But that was also an Easter egg to Arkham Asylum. If I remember correctly.
Well, I will say it would be cool. I think people would just like the ventriloquist to be a villain of his own right instead of just
The problem is he's not... It wouldn't be an Easter egg. You know how there are side villains in every Arkham game? Like, he would have a side role. He wouldn't be the main... I think that a mob war that is caused by Ra's al Ghul, like, would be very interesting because, remember, he tries different methods for tearing apart the city?
Oh, yeah, that's a really interesting point.
So if he's like, the supplier, because either he's the supplier for Roman Sionis' return, or he's, you know, checking out the new blood in Gotham and decides to, you know, work with ventriloquist secretly. And he's fueling the weapons, because they have a gang war in the Arkham universe. It's based on, like, War Games or Cataclysm or something like that, which is, again, it's a pre-52 storyline. Very important that ventriloquist and... because the joke, the War of Riddles and Jokes, that was a New 52 thing. The war between Black Mask and Ventriloquist was a real comic story arc that had severe consequences, especially with Stephanie Brown.
Oh, right.
And it's part of the Arkham universe.
What happened to Stephanie Brown? She died? Or...
She originally was going to die, but they retconned it. So Black Mask tortured her to death. Batman found her, brought her to Leslie Tompkins, and she died in Leslie's care, only to be later retconned that she didn't die, and Leslie Tompkins gave her an out from working with Batman. Batman found out about it and disowned his mom.
Why would he disown her? Because she helped...
Because he lied to her, and, you know, that was Tim's girlfriend.
Oh, so she didn't tell...
No.
Anyone that she was alive.
She didn't tell anybody. Tim mourned over her, and all this stuff happened.
She could have written a letter to Tim.
She didn't do anything. They left the country.
Who left the country? Leslie
She fled the
Tompkins
country,
did?
yeah. After Stephanie died, or perceived to die, Leslie blamed Batman for her death and left the country.
Oh, so then they made it like... But, I mean, no offense, but like, when... Like, Stephanie Brown, at some point when she's 18, she could easily write a letter. Like, it's her responsibility.
Oh, she was already over the age of 18, because she had a child.
Well, then it's really not... I mean, when you're 18, you can't, like, blame somebody else, an older adult, and say it was their... I mean, they could have a tremendous amount of influence on you, but eventually you could sneak out for 10 minutes and go to the post office and send a note. It's not like... I doubt Leslie Tompkins had her chained up in the basement, unable to move, unable to go to the post office, or tell people. I mean, you could easily send in a letter.
I don't know why she did. They were in Africa for the longest time, so...
I mean, there's tons of post offices in Africa.
Right. It's probably Leslie took her mail. I don't know. They had no phones, they had no communication, they they were off the grid.
Yeah, but I mean, she could leave Leslie Tompkins. She could just walk away. If she really loved him, she could just leave.
They never, honey, it was bad writing. They don't explain why she did it.
I'm just saying, theoretically, if a person was in that situation, they wouldn't be...
Tim and Stephanie have suffered bad writing for decades at DC.
I'm just saying, like, I just think that is stupid because a person over the age of 18 should be able to get out of the house and write a letter or, you know, do something on their own. They're not no one can force you to do anything when you're 18.
Leslie was trying to keep her under the radar to stay out of Batman, because Batman can find them. In fact, Batman does eventually find them, years later.
Technically, if you do that to another person, you're technically kidnapping.
Amber, you're not even paying attention.
Yeah.
You're trying to interject real-world things that don't work in comic books.
Yeah, it does.
No, it does not. It's fantasy. It doesn't work.
It's fantasy, but it
Right.
doesn't
But
make
I'm,
any...
I'm telling you it does not. It doesn't apply. It does not work.
I'm saying it's not Leslie's, it's Stephanie's responsibility to get in touch with her man. That's what I think.
Wait, where is...
Sorry.
It's okay, but you're not paying attention. You're trying to add realism into a comic book setting. Leslie is terrified of Batman because she lied to him and they flee the country. So she goes off the grid, that's all they ever say. And Batman eventually does find her. And then he disowns Leslie and takes all her funding and everything. And then she stays in Africa.
Well, I'm sorry that happened to the fake characters of Batman, Leslie, and Stephanie Brown.
Stephanie and Tim have been done dirty in comics for years. The one time where it looked like their relationship was healing, DC sidelined both characters, brought them to college, and then had Tim break up with Stephanie off screen when they had like a very, important relationship, and then acted like her, being dumped by Tim was the best day of her life. It's like, it was just like she had bipolarism or something and Tim was like on drugs. It was the weirdest thing ever.
Why would she need to be bipolar and him on drugs just so they could break up?
Because they flipped the switch on Tim and made him not straight.
But why would they really said that he was on drugs?
No, he just acted like it. Tim's personality completely changed. He wore biker shorts, he did everything. Why do you think we call him Tina Drake? He had a complete personality shift.
Why would he change what he was wearing?
Because apparently that's what the gay writer wrote.
Oh no! No! Please don't
So he completely...
It was a projection of this, how the writer was, or whatever.
They really said she had bipolar in the...
No.
Oh, it was as if she had it.
I'm telling you what the mental disease of her shift is like.
Oh.
I was a Stephanie fan
if you
for
were
decades.
looking at somebody going one way to another, it looked as almost if she had bipolar to the reader, because she was completely switching personalities.
Yeah, because she and Tim were completely... Here's the difference, okay? Tim acted normal. Tim and her, like, she was the bubbly blonde. And Tim was, like, the kind of normal, like, very thought-provoking guy. Like, well, maybe we'll go do this. And she's like, you want to go make out or something? He says, in a minute, I'm doing this. And she's like, we're still going to do that, though, right? He's like, yeah, of course, and we'll go to a movie and whatever. So, Tim is just him. He's doing his math. He's being the geeky nerd that we all know. And then 2 months later, a new writer comes in, and they completely turn... It's like watching Tim Drake go from being nerdy Tim Drake to becoming that exercise guy. Like, what was his name?
Oh my gosh.
What was his name? He had the afro, he had the...
You're talking about...
Richard
Simmons.
Richard Simmons, yeah, exactly. So
we're becoming mighty!
Right. So...
You can go! Believe in yourself! And 1, and 2,
yeah.
and 1,
That's
and 2.
For a lifelong Tim Drake fan, that's what it was like watching Tim Drake. Tim Drake had none of his original qualities, and overnight he became Richard Simmons. And if we said anything online how we hated the change, they would call us ists and phobes and bigots and all this other stuff. And these were lifelong Tim Drake fans. Like, I grew up with Tim Drake. He was my Robin, right?
Yeah.
It was...
So they didn't just change his preference, they also changed his complete
They turned him into an actual clown, yeah.
That's odd that they would do that.
Biker shorts, tight t-shirts. They gave him a lisp. They made him an idiot.
But isn't that stereotyping, like...
Well, yeah, of course they stereotype
Isn't that,
things.
like, stereotyping the gay community, then?
Yes.
I mean, like, isn't that kind of offensive to them as well? Like,
yes. No, I mean, I would think it would be offensive. It's a living stereotype, yeah. So that's why I hate Tim Drake, is because he's not Tim Drake, he's Tina Drake. And the thing is, he'll never go back to how he was. And Stephanie is really obnoxious now. She's nothing like she ever was.
I think Richard Simmons passed away a few years ago.
Yeah, Richard Simmons passed away a while ago. But I'm just saying, like, the personality switch, it's like, even if you made mention how you didn't like it, I had people who used to, there was some freaks on Twitter that, because of the things I said about Tim Drake, like, they literally tried to get me, like, and my YouTube channel shut down, like, years ago, you know?
But wouldn't it be offensive to, I would think it would be offensive to the gay community, though, to have every stereotype combined into the character. I would think it would be
so.
offensive to, I would think it would be very offensive. Like, that's very stereotypical.
Will this work? This is not going to work, is it? But yeah, that's why.
Because not everyone who's gay wears biker shorts.
And I don't.
Like, you don't have to be all those
I
things.
I don't relate to Dick Grayson because Dick Grayson's always been a horn dog. Like, I like Dick Grayson now because he's got a steady girlfriend, he's got a puppy, he's becoming more of a man, you know, but the Dick Grayson I grew up with, like, he was sleeping with so many different girls that I wouldn't say that he was a great role model.
Yeah, so Tim Drake was actually a better role model because he was
Tim Drake was always with, like, he never cheated on his girlfriends, he always had one girl at a time, and Stephanie was his longest one, and they were really cute together, yeah. So it was heartbreaking. It was like, wow, my favorite character just, like, Richard Simmons switched, just like that. And if you said, oh man, I don't like this, people were like, oh. So,
yeah, but
I'm doing something wrong
that
here.
is strange, though.
I'm doing something wrong. What am I doing wrong? I need to think.
Like, you would have thought if they were going to change his preferences, that they would just slightly change. Maybe he would just be a little more into, like, you know, like, oh, I'm getting more into style now or something. But it wouldn't be complete shift, like 180 degrees, like completely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, that is very strange that it would completely.
But that's how the writer was.
night
And
and day.
it wasn't just that. After she turned Tim Drake that way, she went back and she said all the 90s comics that he ever in was problematic and toxic. She basically made fun of an entire generation.
So, but
because she then wrote the Young Justice comics, and she
So-
ruined the Young Justice comics.
So him just being a average straight male is toxic?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so what is she saying? That every regular straight male person is toxic?
According to her, yeah.
Isn't that pretty mean to say? I mean, I don't know. That's pretty judgmental.
Well, you can't have logic and reason with these people. That's why we called them what we did, you know.
What did he do that was toxic? Do his homework? I don't really understand what was toxic about his... Didn't he try to make the streets safe and do his homework and try to help people? What's toxic about that? I don't really understand what she's saying is toxic.
Said everything about the 90s comics. She wrote
But
this
isn't he one of the most liked Robins?
He was the most liked Robin. He got his own book for the first time in decades, and she got it canceled after 6 issues. And then she blamed the readers. She was like, why didn't the readers support this change? It's like, because no one wanted that change.
Oh, so basically she's insulting everyone who reads comic books since he was one of the most likable characters.
Yeah, she didn't even stick around either. Like, after she ruined Tim, she left and she went to Marvel or something like that. But the problem is, I don't have a problem with race or gender swapping as long as you can switch the characters back. The problem is, you can't reset a character once you change them. So if there was an option to be like, yeah, okay, we did this to so-and-so or whatever, it's like, great, I applaud that. So if I come and say I write for DC Comics, can I go back and change the character to how he was when I was reading? And they're like, oh, no, you can't do that. It's like, why?
Right,
You have no problem changing their race or
what you're
changing
saying.
their preferences or whatever.
If you go from a character that has more like qualities that is like a majority of people or perceived as a majority of people are like that, and then you switch them to a minority group or what's perceived as a minority group, then if you try to switch them back to how they originally were, then people get angry at you thinking you hate that minority group, when in reality you just felt like the character worked better how they were originally.
The problem is the gaslighting that people do to you. It's like, well, you say you have no problem with this, but yet if somebody says, okay, we're cool with you doing this, but In this universe, or the way I write things, I want to change them back. Now I'm the villain, when that's exactly what you did, is you came in, you got your way, you changed a character's identity, you changed their skin color. But if I want to come in and I'm a creative person, and it's like I want to write the character I remember, you know, from the 90s or whatever, and do new stories with that character, I'm the problematic one?
I would say though, like, changing their ethnicity is much different than changing their preferences. Like that, those are like completely different.
They view it as the same.
That's weird because that is not the same at all. Like I would think changing your, personally, it's my personal opinion. I would say it's my personal opinion that people are going to be mad.
But that's probably why I got out of comics, though.
I think changing your preferences that way would actually be more drastic change than changing your ethnicity.
The only comics that I currently read, I read Nightwing every once in a while because of the Barbara and Dick relationship, and the little puppy, that's their adopted puppy with one leg, or missing a leg. The banter is cute. It kind of reminds me of the old Mary Jane and Spider-Man comics from the 80s and 90s. Before Peter was a wife beater, because Peter did have a phase where during the Clone Saga he beat up his pregnant wife once. It was stupid, because Marvel was stupid. But, you know, Dick and Barbara are really good together. And, you know, you still have the Starfire stands that are like, oh my gosh, break up, you know, Dick and Starfire and listen to us, and, you know, make him a horn dog again. So Dick has been in a stable relationship now for, in comic years, or in comics in general, probably close to 4 years. Like, he's been faithful, and it's like, the only thing left to do is put a ring on it again, and, you know, marry Barbara. Will DC let him? Probably not. They'll probably break him up in a couple years, because they don't know how to write stable, happy relationships. Even though the Spider-Man Ultimate books are showing that, you know, married couple books actually do work.
So her aesthetic shock would be toxic then, says Miss Deanna.
Probably.
Probably. Just a regular guy with friends that's, you know, helping people.
But the thing is, the thing
same.
is, the 90s the 90s Young Justice books were not toxic. They were not bad. They were funny. They were almost like a parody of the 90s. You know, and they had some very serious stories like Graduation. Graduation was horrible because it killed not only a member of the Young Justice crew on their graduation, but it also killed a Titans member, Donna Troy. Because some Superman androids went crazy on Graduation, and the Titans couldn't defeat the Superman androids because they were essentially like Superman, except they were robots. So, like, you know, literally, you had like this very carefree comic, and then at the end of its run, you had a horrific tragedy that everyone in the 90s remembers probably more than the death of Superman. Especially if you were an avid comic reader back then. The death of Donna Troy and another character in the same book during a happy celebration. It was literally their graduation as minor superheroes into teenagers. They could actually join the Teen Titans. And then it marred it with tragedy. And not only that, but it set a motion for the books where Dick was like, I'm dissolving the Titans now. We're not doing this thing anymore, because he didn't know how to deal with a tragedy in his own family that he was responsible for setting up that celebration. Like, he put everybody in the same place at the same time, resulting in their deaths. You know, Dick really took that hard, and he became kind of emo for a little bit. He separated himself from his longtime family, the Titans.
Please, don't hurt me.
Who did this to you?
They were all covered up, like ninjas.
Shiva.
Who?
Where are they now?
I don't know. My partner shot one of them and split. They finished stringing me up and took off after him.
You should call the precinct, have them send a car for you, then find some place to wait.
Will do. Thanks.
Batman, get him out of the water. It's cold.
I should be able to pick up a blood trail.
Yeah, I know Bernard's gone, but Tim is still Tim. They haven't introduced a new girlfriend for him.
Well, Batman really needs to get that gentleman out of the water. He's cold.
He can stand out of the water himself. He's got legs.
All right.
It would make sense.
You said get a car, call a car. Yeah.
It would make sense for the NPC to actually climb out of this trap himself.
It would make sense if he gets out.
But he does.
Yeah, because I wouldn't stand in there if you're freezing.
Yeah.
Of course, he doesn't get anyone out.
This should lead me to the other officer.
He just cuts them down and he says, call a car. Then he leaves.
The sad thing is, even though that stint with Tim is done, like, his fans aren't going to come back. Like, the longtime fans like myself, you know, we've moved on to other Robins and stuff where we just don't read comics as much anymore. Like, they lost more than they gained, which is why I don't understand why they pulled these type of stunts. Like, if you're going to pull these type of stunts, you need to do it on a character that's unknown, because DC is probably never going to take the gamble on another Robin book. Like, and Robin book was very successful in the 90s. It lasted for over a decade. Longer than that. If you think about it, the Robin book debuted in 1994, I think it was, 1993. It ran all the way from 1993 with Chuck Dixon, who was writing Nightwing and Robin at the same time, right? It lasted all that time until Red Robin. So the Robin books transformed into the Red Robin books, where Tim Drake became the Red Robin, the crazy vigilante with the cowl thing, right? You've seen his skin in yeah, the Hooded Robin that's in Arkham City.
Thank
right?
you, Justo, for the super chat.
One sec. So, like, when you have the books ran all the way with Tim Drake as Robin in his own solo book from 1993 until 2009. And then they brought the Robin book back. It lasted less than 6 months with the change. That should speak volumes to DC's editorial department, but all it did was just make them mad. And they just buried their head in the sand like an ostrich. And blame the fans.
Well, I mean, if I was Stephanie and you were Tim Drake and you left me for Bernard for quite a long time, I don't think it would be the same to anyone coming back.
She acts like it's the best day of her life if you read the breakup book. Like, she mourned for like a day, and then, like, when she meets Bernard, she's like, oh, it's the best day of my life. It's like, those two were gonna get married. And then he...
Seems like kind of a weird reaction.
Out of character. It'd be like, I'm writing... you want to know what it would be like for people? You're an amazing writer, Amber, and you've been writing the romance between Superman and Lois for years. And then all of a sudden, this new writer comes in and decides that Superman, while he's over in Australia, he's going to text his wife and son and say, hey guys, I found someone else, I'm leaving you guys, by text. And then he brings, a few weeks later, he's nervous about meeting his wife and his son, bringing home a side woman.
Yeah, exactly.
And the wife has to respond like, oh my gosh, you're leaving me for someone younger and better than me. That's what Stephanie did when she met Bernard.
Exactly.
She'd been with Tim for years.
That's exactly how I see it as well.
But that's what these people do. They break up marriages, they break up friendships, they break up relationships, and in order to okay what they've done, the other characters that are around them have to not only acknowledge that it's the right path, but that they were in the way of your happiness.
Right, and that's exactly why
That's why it's wrong.
That's why I think that changing comic book characters' ethnicity is much different than changing their preferences, like, or their life decisions or whatever. Like, it's completely different because you're, you know, if your character, I mean, just
stupid Storm.
But that's what happened. Like, if Stephanie would have punched him in the face or something, I think fans would have felt fine. But those 1% of fans that were happy with the change, which didn't buy the books anyway, they just praised it on Twitter, you know, Stephanie had to adhere to their ideals that, oh, you know, Tim didn't do anything wrong, he's being true to himself.
Basically what they're saying is if he had a side chick and cheated on her and was like, hey, Stephanie, here's this hussy I've been, you know, with behind your back, and I just wanted to show you her and let you know that I hate you and I'm with this other chick. And I just wanted to introduce you, and then she was like, oh, okay, I hate you now. Why don't you go take a long walk off a short cliff, Tim? And he's like, fine, I hate you too.
I think if she would have decked him, it would have been better.
Because he was with a man instead of a woman, then she had to be like, oh, this is great. I love being thrown away like a piece of trash in the dumpster.
Yep.
This is fantastic. Thanks for ruining my life. I mean, I was going to call you jerk, but because you're with a man instead of a woman, it doesn't hurt as much for some reason. Oh, wait, it does. It's like, oh, because you're with a man instead of a woman, it doesn't hurt at all. Oh, wait, it hurts exactly the same. Actually, it's exactly the same thing. Actually, to be completely honest.
Why did you kill him?
Because you wouldn't. He was corrupt, a murderer.
But there's no justice in this.
What do you know of justice? Behind bars or beyond them, these people never change. As long as they live, Gotham is stained.
This isn't the way.
And here I thought you might understand. Still, the test must continue. Meet me at Sheldon Park.
The thing is that they did with Shiva that, like, we were so close to getting a sequel to Arkham Origins several times. They were building up this huge reveal to Ra's al Ghul. Kind of like the way, like, people were like, what direction are they going to go with after, you know, everything that happened in Arkham Origins? And people are always theorizing they're going to do something with the League of Shadows, and they went back to the test that Shiva did, because Batman has a big meeting with Ra's al Ghul that's mentioned in the Arkham bios that we never really get to see. You know, because that's where he meets Talia and all this other stuff. The first person he meets from the League or the whatever assassins is Shiva. Shiva's his introduction. And then over time, he meets everybody. Nessa, Talia, Ra's, Ubu. We've never actually seen Ubu in the Arkham universe. He's mentioned, but we never see him. So whoever does Arkham Shadow 2, or whatever they want to call it, they need to incorporate the League of Shadows so they can continue to connect the puzzle pieces.
Hi Savon, hi everyone. Hi Jim Goldbeck, your thing looks, your profile picture looks great. But yeah, it's like, it's literally saying that you have a relationship with a different human, another person. So why would it be a different reaction because Bernard is a man than if he had just cheated on Stephanie and said, you know, I'm with another woman? It should be the same reaction. It should be no different reaction. But then they make her have to say, this is great.
Because in order for Tim to move on, he had to get the okay from the person. He said the hardest thing for me is he said that he still loves her, and yet he did that to her.
That's typical. I mean, for me, like, for what have looked up online and stuff, I mean, that's what I've heard, like, narcissists are like, because narcissists, not only do they do things that hurt you, but then they expect you to tell them that it's okay.
But he was never a narcissist. He was just a geeky kid.
Right, but he is now. That's probably why nobody reads his comics, because that's typical.
He's just a side character.
He's basically an abuser, because that's how abusers act, where they... Not only do they do something hurtful to someone, but then they force that person to say that it was fine. Like you can see, that's like controlling abusive people do that all the time. Like, even like, people that are super controlling at, holiday events and all kinds of stuff. Like, they mistreat their family members, and then they're like, this is fine, right? I mean, this is how I'm stressed out. This is just how I... you understand, because they expect you to reassure them that them abusing you is fine. That's how they are.
Well,
they're so messed up.
If somebody in the West somehow got a hold of SAO, they would find a way to break up Kirito and Asuna, but because Kirito and Asuna is a Japanese brand, and the director and the person who writes it believes in true love and stuff, like, he will write it so Asuna and Kirito do end up together. And we do know that a new SAO movie is coming out in 2026, I believe. So we'll find out where it takes place in the timeline. But we never have to worry about Asuna and Kirito, because Japan doesn't do the same thing that Western companies do. They know people love that couple. They love that story. If anything, they're probably going to focus on that more, because people want to know what happens after the Underworld arc.
Yeah, but if you... most people, like, if you would divorce your, wife or husband, or you would get rid of your girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever, and then you tell them, like, hey, I'm leaving you, you cannot expect the other person to accept that or be okay with it. That's not what you deserve. That's only what narcissists think that they deserve. That's only what insane people and abusers think they deserve. If somebody says you hurt me and I'm not okay with you leaving me, you have to accept you hurt them. That's what human beings do.
There's consequences to you leaving. Yeah.
Right.
That's why
being a human being.
even fans said, we get that you did this to Tim, but the fact that Stephanie has like this big goofy look on her face and she's shaking his hand up and down, like, thank you so much for ruining my life. It's like Stephanie needed to like knock out Bernard's teeth. Like, that's the kind of girl Stephanie always was, though. Stephanie was, you know, she's very sweet, but also when she gets really mad, she's violent. That's her personality. So the fact that she completely acts like a different person, like the writer herself, like, so not only did the writer ruin Tim Drake's personality, but she ruined the Young Justice crew, and she ruined Stephanie. Because Stephanie would have like, handled that very well. Like, Stephanie would have knocked some of Bernard's teeth out, and it would have been justified.
Well, that's why it's called adult relationships. When you're an adult, you have to accept the consequences for what you've done. You decide to break up with someone after you've had a very intimate relationship with them. You have to accept the consequences for how that will hurt the person. You can't expect them to make you feel better about you hurting them. You can't tell them, well, I feel bad about hurting you. Can you make me feel better about the fact that I'm hurting you? No. They're not going to make you feel better while you're hurting them.
Yeah, that's why
ridiculous.
A lot of these comic writers have been living in fantasy world, because they never add any flaws or actual consequences for their actions. Ever. So everything has to be all happy, 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 and, you know, I'm this way now, accept it, blah, 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 whatever. It's like there's no actual real consequences for what happened. And Stephanie, you did see, was pretty broken up in her own comic book. But, like, it's absolutely stupid. It was a dark time to be a Tim Drake fan, and now Tim Drake has basically been reduced to just a side role. And the most popular Robin now is actually becoming Damian, which is very hard to say. Because Damian was such a brat, and now he's becoming, like, the likable Robin. That's the timeline we're in now. It's really weird.
Oh, okay.
I still don't like Damian.
What you were talking about is similar to the creator of Minecraft, Mr. Luke. A lot of people got upset with his game. He felt he lost his mind on social media. He'd go on rants that were prejudiced in nature against different people groups. Yeah, well, sorry to hear that, Miss Deanna. I don't know. I don't know the situation with the creator of Minecraft.
I don't follow Minecraft.
Thank you, Miss Deanna.
Where is what's her face? Oh, Shiva's through here.
I have to be careful what trigger words I say, otherwise, but.
Oh yeah, then we'll get DDoS and all kinds of stuff.
No, I meant for the YouTube search engine. It doesn't allow me to say certain, like, the R word and stuff.
I'm more concerned about getting DDoS by the crazy people.
Listen up, fellas. Tonight's your lucky night. See, the boss has decided that on account of it being Christmas Eve and all, we're gonna be handing out some gifts. And he doesn't want anyone going home empty-handed. So head on up here and grab yourself a gun. You heard me right. Free guns for everybody.
Wait, they have guns here?
Courtesy of Oswald Chesterfield.
Alexander Notch? From Batman?
Notch went crazy with all that wealth, says Goki.
Notch.
Now here's how it's gonna work. You line up all nice and orderly.
Are you talking about the guy from the reporter from Batman who got the grant?
Take a look around.
That's the only Notch I remember.
And then take what you want.
Alexander Notch?
Just don't hang around too long. We got a lot of guns, but not a lot of time.
I always thought Cobblepot was a decent guy. This just proves it.
Sionis isn't gonna like this.
If Batman finds out about this, we're all gonna be screwed.
Look at all those guns. Choosing one
There's
is
their
gonna be tough.
guns. Wait, it won't let me destroy the guns. Why? I'm in range. Shoot. Well, I can disable the guns here, right? Yeah. Alright, time to make an entrance.
Alright, I'm gonna put the fish on.
Okay, please don't tell me about food. I need my stomach.
Okay, Luke, well,
You do what you gotta do.
I'm gonna put the oven on.
Okay. I'm still gonna have to make some lemon tea after, or some of the whatever it's called, ginger tea after this.
Okay, is that what you're saying? You want me to make it for you right now? Is that what
No,
you're saying?
No, on the break I'm gonna make it when I wish my dad a happy birthday.
Oh, he's one of the creators of Minecraft, says Ghost.
Oh. I don't. We tried to get in Minecraft, it didn't work.
Sorry guys, I don't know too much about it.
No. Sorry about that. I wasn't even a comic book guy. I liked Batman. People always ask me, like, what is your favorite? Are you more of a DC or are you a Marvel guy? It's like, I'm more of a Batman guy than, you know, Batman is in the DC universe, and I like DC, but if Batman was in, like, Image Comics or wherever, I would prefer Batman over regular DC characters. Because Batman is not a superhuman character.
I just think, like, Twitter in general is, like... I think if it didn't exist, things would be a lot better, because it just gives people a way to just randomly say their opinion.
Oh, Twitter's not that bad anymore. They fled to a company called Blue Sky, and they're having a lot of problems. All the crazy people that used to give us trouble and used to, like, clip our tweets and act like psychopaths, they all went to Blue Sky, and they're having a civil war over there.
Yeah.
Because
they
like
can't
they're
live with themselves.
No, they're canceling each other. They're eating themselves. Yeah, it's hilarious because like you would think they all have the shared opinion, but they don't. So they're all like piranhas on each other. I almost thought about having a Blue Sky account, but like when I tried to make one, it got banned right away. Like somebody flagged me or whatever, and I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. But people have been telling me that Blue Sky is basically like they're cannibalizing each other. Like, even people who went there thinking it was better than Twitter, like, they're miserable. So I think that's the best reward, is the fact that all these freaks and weirdos are getting their just desserts somewhere else. I think it's hilarious.
Like they say, like, people who are very argumentative, they have a hard time even living with themselves. Like, people that can't get along with others, they can't even get along with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you come? Don't you have a city to save?
Killed a man.
Yes, a lesson that seems lost on you. And many more will die if you do not learn it.
Then you'll stand trial for all of them.
I admire your passion, though your cause is flawed. Now, let us...
The biggest crime for this game for me is the build-up for this with no follow-up. Like, there is still a way to redeem this awesome storyline with Shiva. It's to give her a big role or a lead-up role to another Arkham game. Like, we live in an opportunity now for them to continue the Arkham story in a way that will be satisfying as well as add longevity to the franchise. Like, they were building up some type of big either DLC or some type of sequel involving the League or the Court of... the League of Shadows or the League of Assassins. I keep wanting to say Court of Owls. What? I'm dizzy though. I can't. The mind is willing, the flesh is weak, sweetie.
Let me show you truth here.
I'd love to, but I can't.
Let's test your...
I haven't even been able to watch something, let alone shoot. You're not distracting me. It's a stupid, what do you call it? Martial arts guys. There's a wrong way and a right way to handle these guys, and I'm just botching it hardcore. That's understandable. You've been here streaming with me for quite a while.
Cannot hope to match me.
Oh, that worked. That didn't. Okay. Nuts! Cheap shot.
A lesson.
Nobody can.
The test is ended, and with it, your life.
Yeah, no. Well, that didn't look good.
Enough. Skilled, honorable, devoted. I see now why the Master has chosen you. It seems we have both learned something today.
I don't care about you or your master. I'm bringing you in.
No, you're not. But you have earned a reprieve. I hope in time you come to realize how wrong you are about Gotham. It is not meant to be saved. It cannot be saved. Only cleansed. And from the ashes, reborn.
Alfred, I'm sending you 2 sets of coordinates. One is for a body, the other's for a survivor. Make sure they get to GCPD.
Of course, Sam. Shall we consider the case closed, then?
For now. I doubt tonight's the last I'll see of Shiva.
I do have a funny Minecraft story. There was a YouTube network that was interested in us when we were getting about like 7 million views monthly. And they told us that if we did Minecraft, we would easily get like 1 million views. And we told the guy, we were like, we're actually fine only getting like a few 100,000 views and upload. We have a very comfortable living. And the dude was like straight up shrieking at us. He's like, you could be driving Ferraris, you could do all this stuff. He says, you know, she could have her own Minecraft series and you could do something. It's like, she? It's like, we're a collab channel. Like, part of the reason why I didn't want to work with the guy is he kept referring to my wife as she. It's like, and he was this very energetic guy that had a bunch of YouTube channels that did all Minecraft stuff and was telling us Minecraft was the future and whatever, but it, like, I think it was that dude who kind of pushed us away from even thinking about Minecraft because he was just like this crazy eccentric guy. And keep in mind, this was like 2015, 2014. And we were already doing stuff we really liked, which was like Arkham and Disney Infinity, I think, and Skylanders. So we already had a niched audience that we liked. But he wanted us to be like all his other Minecraft channels so we could make money. So we could make more money. And of course the dude was going to take a huge cut from us as well. I don't remember what his cut was going to be, but it was something pretty significant. And it was just kind of like, no. But I mean, it was just like, he didn't recognize that if a YouTuber had a wife, that was like a legitimate thing. He was just kind of like, well, yeah, it's cool that, you know, the ultimate gamer fantasy, a guy having a wife or something like that. That's great, but that doesn't sell a YouTube channel, is what he would always say. It's kind of like, okay, but we're not trying to sell a YouTube channel. That's who we are. We're a husband and wife team that play games. Not just any games, though. Games we like. Because we feel that people who like the kind of stuff we play will come and, you know, hang out with us. That was the whole point. So, I mean, YouTube was such a weird beast back in the day. But that's the only real thing that I ever had with Minecraft, is we had an opportunity to become a big Minecraft channel and we said no. Because, I mean, the dude was just so... it was hard to deal with, I guess you could say. And he had a lot of famous clients, obviously, but it just... it didn't seem like the right thing. And I remember that people for years tried to teach me how to play Minecraft, and I just couldn't get around it. It was too confusing. I'm not really a big mouse and keyboard kind of guy. Yeah, he was going to take a huge percentage, yeah. Outside steel mill. Well, yeah, he was a, I mean, that's how a lot of networks were, though, Miss Deanna. Like, a lot of people didn't treat Amber like a person. She was just like the girl. Like, Amber was like eye candy or something. She wasn't treated as like another content creator. Maker Studios did it. Machinima, that Minecraft producer guy or whatever, Minecraft YouTuber. They all did that. You know? They just saw, even though the channel was called Kwingsletsplays, they didn't see Amber as like a part of it. Like, they were saying she could have her own channel and do stuff, and you guys can collab in Minecraft. It's like, but we have a collab channel. It's Kwingsletsplays. That's our brand. Just like other channels, you don't tell the Game Grumps, hey, you guys should have your own channel. Nobody knows who you guys are. It's like, we're Kwingsletsplays. It's two people. Can you not read? Do you not understand English? It even says, it doesn't say K-Wing Let's Plays, it says K-Wings. It's two people. But yeah, I didn't take the guy's offer. Like, I immediately, when he was like saying stuff, bad-mouthing our channel, it's like I had a hard time sitting through that interview. Amber had more patience than I did, but That was one of the most annoying Skype calls I ever had with, like, a YouTube network. That was just infuriating. That was probably more annoying than when Machinima was scouting us. And the only reason I accepted Machinima's offer is because they gave us a sign-on bonus for doing Arkham stuff. Which is why Arkham Wednesdays became a thing, is because they basically, you know, I wouldn't say they sponsored it, but they gave the sign-in bonus for me to do it. Which gave me time and gave me other stuff to do. So when Arkham Wednesdays first started, I was a Machinima content creator. I left Machinima during the time of Arkham Knight, I think. So I was with Machinima from Arkham Origins all the way through right around the time Arkham Knight came out. And I left. But yeah, man, the old days of YouTube was pretty sus. Pretty sus. You find them. Wait, I thought we already took care of the guy with the thingy.
Thanks for the kind words, everyone. I appreciate that. I'm gonna go wrap presents, so I was kind of away from the thing. Thanks, everyone.
Oh, that's the thing.
That's why I was kind of surprised, like, in the last 4 years, all these female content creators have been like, you have no idea what it's like to be a female content creator. Like, people are mistreating me. It's like, when, like, they weren't mistreating them, they were just not giving into their demands. I was actually mistreated for being a female for years on YouTube, but they weren't mistreated. Like, a lot of the female content creators that were, like, acting like they were mistreated, they weren't mistreated at all.
Mm-hmm.
They have no idea what it was like being on early YouTube.
Yep.
There's, you know, it's just stupid. It's just like Brie Larson being like, I'm the first female superhero. It's like, okay, what about the thousands of other ones? Like, what are you talking about? Please. Spare me.
Yeah, that was always funny to me. Didn't she start toting that when, like, Wonder Woman came out, like, 2 years, or was it 2 years before her movie even came out? Something like that. And there were female superheroes that came out before Wonder Woman, though. Wonder Woman wasn't the first female superhero live-action movie. I think Supergirl in the 80s was. Pretty sure that was a theatrical film. I didn't see it because it didn't look very good, but I'm pretty sure that was a thing.
I still get that. Like, even today I get that. I get that on this channel. Like,
it's ready to go should you need it.
You know, I'll be playing a game and people are like, maybe you should pause the game and go wake your husband up and maybe he can help you with the level. I don't know if you can get through it because you're a girl. It's like, please tell me your address. I'm gonna come beat you up, then I'll pause the game, come beat you up, and then come back here and then finish the level on my own. Thank you very much. Like, please don't tell me I need to wake my husband up to help me finish the level of a video game. As if I'm not perfectly capable of doing it on my own. Like, please. This is very strange.
Bet. Oh. Oh my goodness. Oops, I got a little sidetracked. That's okay. Oh, just fill in time. There was a Wonder Woman series, like, before Brie Larson. Yeah, it was in the 70s. We almost got a Wonder Woman CW show.
I mean, there were so many female-led movies and shows and stuff. Like, I mean, there was even, I mean, there's so many. Like, not just female superheroes, but so many action movies that had female leads.
Well, in the 90s, we had Buffy.
There was even a 70s, they were talking about that one 70s, there was a lady in the 70s that was a female. She was the lead of her movie. I mean, it's like a cop movie or something. It doesn't, it's not even, but even at that era, until this era, it wasn't even a contest. Nobody was,
Yeah, I never
you know,
understood why we went backwards
now
as a
suddenly
society.
it's a contest. Now suddenly, you know, suddenly everyone's keeping score.
Well,
Oh wow.
That's because activists don't like the fact that the glass ceiling already broke, so they try to tell people that they're the ones who broke the glass ceiling. But at the same time, don't they realize that they're taking away achievements from women from the past that were the ones that shattered the ceiling to begin with?
Right.
That's what I never understood. If they're really activists when they want to praise and tote the women that came before them. Yeah. That's what I don't get. That's why I don't like activists, is because it's like you're basically stealing an idea that a woman 20 or 30 years before you had and executed better than you did. And their movie was more fun than yours.
And you know why? You know why their movies were more fun decades ago? Because they didn't every 3 seconds go, I'm a female and I'm the lead of this movie, so step out of my way. Because I'm a female and I'm the lead of this movie, so step out of my way. It's like they just keep repeating the line that they're a female and they're the lead of the movie over and over again. But I mean in different ways. Like, I run the entire Nova Corps, or I can do everything a man can do. Look at me. I've trained more than any other person. Like, they just keep saying their accomplishments over and over again in their movies instead of just doing their job. Instead of just doing what everyone else in the movie is doing. They just keep, they just keep saying what their accomplishments are.
I want to know what I always remember a kick-butt comic book lady did in a movie? Everyone has their eyes on her. She flips out of a building. She says, meow, and the building behind her explodes, causing both Batman and Penguin to stand there with their, jaws open. Like, what just happened? Who is that? She doesn't have to say anything. Like, immediately, both Batman and Penguin's attention is on Catwoman. You know? She blew up an entire Shrek's department store by herself. That was cinema. It's like you didn't need to know. Like, it didn't matter what her costume is or that she was a girl. You knew that she blew up that entire block by herself, which puts her on the top of Batman's priorities, other than, seeing what Penguin and the Red Triangle Circus Gang are doing. He actually immediately goes after her because of her arson. Boink.
Yeah, they were... somebody wrote an article about, literally hundreds of female leads in...
That's female empowerment right there.
In both, TV and movies. There's been, hundreds of them. I think this is one of the people that they were talking about. Well, I don't know. I can't even remember. I don't know all the 70s shows, but...
I wasn't around in the 70s. That's 10 years before my time.
There was...
Actually, that's more than 10 years before my time. That's
Yeah, but I'm saying that even then there were female leads and stuff, even in the 70s before our time. It shows that it's literally... And not to mention, in the 60s, there were female bad guys all the time. I mean, Eartha Kitt and all the people that played Catwoman, I mean...
3 people that played Catwoman.
Okay, 3 of them. I used to know the other people's names.
Julie Newmar, Lee Merriweather, and Eartha Kitt. And only one of them sounds like a cat. Eartha Kitt. Lee Merriweather sounds like... Lee Merriweather doesn't sound like a cat name.
Just us two killers, man.
There it is. This show was listed on a there was a whole article that was done when Bree said she was the first female action hero. The people listed this lady, Christy Love, 1974 to 1975. The TV series Get Christy Love. A crime drama about a female detective who used her street smarts, martial arts, and large handbags to take down criminals. And the star of this show is, let's see. I think her name, let's see, where am I? There it is. So, starring Teresa Graves, and star of the show is an African-American female. Very pretty. And that just showed, like, that she was listed on a host of other names that have been around since the, 70s, 80s, and 90s, of literally leads of TV shows or movies that are female. Like, she was the head of the show. She was the main character. So it's just, I mean, for Brie Larson to come out and say that she was the first main character, like, kick-butt female, is, like, absolutely ridiculous.
Even the past 30 years she wasn't, because Sarah Michelle Gellar and Buffy ran for like 9 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, it's just insulting, really, is what it is.
It is insulting, but the problem is a lot of these women, like, I liked Linda Carter, but Linda Carter reinforced this idea that there were no female, like, big heroes and superheroes, like, 30, 40 years ago.
Like, she lied about that, because there were.
Exactly.
I don't like it how every female lead keeps lying and being like, I'm the first. It's like, well, then there's been hundreds of firsts. Like, that doesn't make any sense, what you're saying.
I think that's going to stop more now because, like, it's a tied and true thing that, I mean, the public was sick of before, but now the public is even more sick of it. So it's not going to help sell movies. It's not going to, like, every single one of those things that they toted, that nonsense, all failed. Do you know what the movie that lost the most money in film history is? What movie do you think is the biggest box office bomb in history?
Captain Marvel.
The Marvels. The Marvels is the biggest
police report,
blockbuster bomb,
single gunshot wound to the
losing
chest.
over $350 million.
Why? Examining the body should provide a lead.
Yep. But the sad thing is DC Comics has, out of the top 30 movies that had the biggest box office bombs, DC is in there 3 times. The biggest box office bombs for DC is number, like, I believe out of 30, number 18 is Wonder Woman 1984 at 118 million. Then box office bomb number 2 is Shazam! Fury of Gods at 135 million. And then I think it's like number 12 on the list is Shazam! Fury of Gods. Black Adam is 235 million box office bombs of all time. And he's like number 7 on the list.
Yeah, and Miss Deanna was mentioning this one. Oh, I'll wait. I'll wait till you're done.
That's all I have.
Foxy Brown, 1974. Actually, a movie starring a female here, of a kick-butt female. Thank you, Miss Deanna. Yeah, that's the one I was looking at. There it is. This lady was put on the website that had this huge list of female characters that were starring in their own movies and TV. Vigilante takes a job as a high-class escort to get revenge on mobsters who murdered her boyfriend. And she's the star of the movie. Like, and she's like a kick-butt female in this. 1974. I mean, like, and yes, and like Miss Deanna was saying, another African-American female lead. So, I mean, I don't understand what Brie was on, really. That's all I have to say.
She was following a trend.
Owen Grant. He's an investigative journalist. Did an interview with him last year. Must have been chasing a big story to be out here. And there's a camera strap around his neck. But where's the rest of it?
Well, no, it would have been funny if this guy's name, the journalist who you're investigating, his dead body, was Alexander Knock. And it would be a tie-in to, like, or at least an Easter egg to the 1989 Batman movie. It wouldn't matter because, I mean, he's a dead guy. He doesn't show up in any other Arkham game. Be like, hey, remember that guy from 89 Batman? Yeah, he's in Arkham. He's dead. Investigative reporter who was killed. It's just some rando.
This trail indicates the victim tried to escape before succumbing to his wounds.
The question that I never understood about these dead bodies, though, like, if the GCPD has already been here, why didn't they do the criminal investigation? They just throw the body there and put a tarp, and then what? They go for coffee? Like, the body would be removed from the scene, and there'd be a chalk drawing here. There would be no tarp, because Batman's first on the scene.
Yeah.
So why? Maybe because it's a T-rated game that they have to throw the tarp here?
Yeah, Silver Sonic was saying the 70s had Wonder Woman, but also Bionic Woman,
Yep.
and that's just American shows. Don't even get me started on female leads in Asia.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yep. I know, right?
Spatter analysis indicates the shot came from below. Grant must have dropped the camera when he was hit. Reviewing the reconstruction will help me find it, assuming the shooter didn't get there first.
Think about it, Goki, though. Like, who is distributing all these, dead people tarps when Batman is the first one at the scene? Is Alfred the guy who shows up in the Batwing and just drops the tarps to cover up the corpses?
Who put the tarp there?
Yeah. Are the cops secretly somewhere having donuts in a police car nearby? Like, did they leave the crime scene half finished? Like, what's going on?
Maybe the cops put the... Maybe the police put the tarp.
Yeah, but if the cops came and investigated the body, they would have removed the body from the scene, and they would have left a chalk drawing. The body is still there. They wouldn't just leave the body in the snow. They would have already examined the body. In fact, they already had, like, the yellow stickers there to show what happened. If Batman is the first one to the scene after the call is in, who put the tarp there? It's a simple question.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's a T-rated game, they didn't want to have a bloody corpse there. I don't know. Just something to consider. I find it kind of funny. It's like, how'd it get there?
Yep, exactly. I don't know.
Exactly.
Maybe there's a tarp man.
Tarp man.
The vigilante that goes around putting tarps on people.
The person who puts tarps there, yeah. Can't have bodies just lying on the floor. Gotta have a tarp.
Who I would have had put the tarp there is Robin.
Robin doesn't exist yet.
Oh.
This is Arkham Origins. No Robin yet.
I don't know who could have put it there then.
Yeah.
That's strange.
Where do you drop the camera?
I mean, I understand why they have the tarp there, so you don't have to look at a gross dead body.
Yeah, probably.
But it is weird.
I just find it funny, that's all.
I know.
Alfred.
Sir?
I'm sending you some data taken from a camera. See if you can ID the subject in the shots.
Certainly, sir. Just give me a moment. Here we are. One Chucky Burks. I'm sending you his last known location.
Wow, that took quite a while. The dishwasher going. Yeah, I mean, that's just the problem I have with activists. I don't mind if they, claim, hey, we're doing this and that, we got a cool movie coming out, but you don't have to pretend that you're the first. People really get annoyed by that, and it's going to harm your movie. I think that's a stupid declaration, and like, if they want to time travel and go back to, like, the 60s and the 70s when, women were actually taking huge risks in cinema and TV, go for it. But to act like, a lady getting her own, like, TV show or video game is like, earth-shattering. It's so common. And they're very selective on the things they praise. Like, so many women, like, were very angry over Stellar Blade, but they were totally fine over the Suicide Squad. And the Suicide Squad was a very bad depiction of women. It's just they kind of pick and choose what they're okay with.
Black Mask is crazy.
Oops.
In a prison like that.
That's a weird glitch. Wait, where's the crime in progress? Did I already find it? That's not it. Wait, where's the criminal I need to apprehend? Oh, there he is. He's in the Diamond District. Okay. Alright, so we're going to apprehend this fool, and then we're going to take a... Oh, no. Don't tell me I can't fast travel anymore. Why? No. Is it because I'm gliding? Stop gliding. Now fast travel. Thank you. Yeah. The medical examiner should have the body. Exactly correct, Goki. If the cops have already been there and they've left the markers and they have a detailed outline of what they think happened, the body should be removed. If Batman's first to the scene, then there would be nothing there. He would literally be the one putting the pieces together. That, to me, it looks like the cops were super lazy and they didn't even bother to call the coroner because it's like, you know, it's Christmas. Just leave the body in the snow. It's not like it's going to get any stiffer. It just makes the GCPD look even worse. I mean, the body was going to be on ice anyway. It's Christmas. I don't want a corpse to ruin my day. We'll notify his next of kin after Christmas. We don't want to ruin their Christmas. They probably don't even know they're missing. Why spoil their Christmas? They were probably estranged from their family anyway. It's fine. Okay, beautiful. Are you some type of lab experiment? Oh, I can't take you down because you're a...
I got a family.
You got a family? What does that mean? What do you think that means to me?
Can we just put this behind us?
What else are you gonna say? You gonna say something else fun?
Okay, I can't no more. I can't no more. Friggin' wind. Please don't. I got a family. Okay, I can't no more. What do you want?
Justice. You killed a man. Why?
He was gonna expose our counterfeiting. I didn't have a choice.
You always have a choice. Alfred, let GCPD know that Chucky Burks has been apprehended for the murder of Owen Grant. Send them my current location along with the case file details.
At once, sir.
Did you guys hear what Batman just said? The guy said, I had no choice, I had to kill that guy. And he said what? He sold the guy before he knocked him out. You always have a choice. So, the thing that doesn't work about Arkham Shadow is they say Batman's unhinged, and he's very violent like his Arkham Origins days. He literally told that person, you had a choice not to kill that guy. He's already showing, like, you know, the guy is terrified of Batman, and Batman, instead of swearing at him and saying... or like, you know, yelling at him, he's like, you always have a choice, and he knocks the guy out. So he was showing some type of empathy to just some random goon that, you know, whacks somebody. So Arkham Shadow, they make Batman out to be like this really kind of beast-like dude that Arkham Origins should have been. And Arkham Origins Batman is brutal, don't get me wrong. But he shows compassion and empathy, and we don't really see any of that in Arkham Shadow. It's like, what happened between Arkham Origins and Arkham Shadow that Batman became that unhinged? Because he wasn't even that unhinged in Blackgate. Like, where's that game? Alright, so let's talk with Al, and then we're gonna call it a stream and get ready for the next one. I might do another Batman stream too. We gotta play catch-up.
You do know there are easier ways to earn frequent flyer points, sir?
Very funny, Alfred.
Why, thank you. Just a few more remarks like that, and I'll have earned my spot in the sarcastic Butler's Hall of Fame. I assume we won't be unwrapping presents in the morning? Some of the assassins have access to rather interesting technology. When this is over, you might want to consider appropriating it. Let some good come of tonight's events.
It's funny how every goon says they have family when Batman shows up. That's because they're terrified of Batman. They see Batman as like this mythic, kind of like wraith-like figure that's not supposed to exist, and they've heard rumors about him for a year. And their greatest fears are manifested by this big muscular guy in the shadows wearing a bat costume that they don't know is going to kill him or not. So they're basically wetting themselves because they don't know what's happening. Over time, people, get to know Batman's reputation, but in early days, people are terrified of him. Some would rather jump off a roof than deal with Batman. In his, year 1, year 2. Whatever you want to do, Sweet Pea. Alright, guys. So that's going to do it for this episode. Next episode is going to be entirely about the steel mill, which is going to be Miley Cyrus. Pretty sure it's about Miley Cyrus. I don't remember. I think it is. We did a lot of stuff. I always like being in front of basically what looks like Michael Keaton's Batcave. Go back and look at Michael Keaton's Batcave. It looks very similar to this. Imagine a continuity where Batman was a Wraith. He kind of was. He became a Wraith-like figure at the end of Arkham Knight, and then they ruined it in Suicide Squad. Having him turn into Super Friends Batman. Worst character arc ever. Take a dark, brooding superhero, and then turn him into Silver Age Batman for your next game. Making him this very... You know what it's like? The Suicide Squad Justice League is like a very unrelatable, detached from a reality Breakfast Club, with Batman being the nerdy guy that's in the background, who hangs out with the jock and the popular girl, and the athlete and the jock and the kind of withdrawn person, and then Batman is in the background as the geeky guy that's not really a part of the group. If you look at some of the photos of the Justice League and the Suicide Squad, Batman's always in the background. He's being antisocial. He's acting like a teenager. They took... It's a complete departure of his character that it's just most people just completely ignore the Suicide Squad. It's a joke. It's nothing like Arkham Batman. That's why it should have been its own universe. Nothing like his character whatsoever. Alright, anyway, guys, I'll be back with your next episode in a little bit. And thank you from Miss Deanna, and for Justo Kenobi, and to Andrew for the Super Chats, because this stream has a copyrighted song where Joker enters Merchant Bank. So we wouldn't have gotten any revenue. So thank you very much. See you guys on the next one. Marathon continues.